This learning is Le'ili Nishmas Broya Bas Chananya. Mseches Demai, Perek, Mishna Aleph. Halikeach min anachtim, someone who buys bread from a baker who sells wholesale, where in such a case the buyer has to separate the trumas and maasros and not the seller. And keep in mind that since it's bread, the person also has to separate the challah. So the Mishnah explains, Kate said hu ma'aser. How does the person go about separating what they need to separate? So they need to separate challah. They need to separate trumas meiser, which has kedusha, and give it to the kohen, and they need to separate meiser sheni and eat it in Yerushalayim or sell it and use the money to buy produce in Yerushalayim. And regarding meiser rishon and meiser ani, they need to separate it, but they get to keep it because there's no kedusha on it. And we say since most aniyim already separated these trumas and meisers. So the person does as follows: Noitel kedei trumas meiser v'chala. What the person basically does is they designate. They don't actually take. They designate by making a mark, and on the side of the mark they put the trumas meiser, which is 100th, because meiser is a 10th, and trumas meiser is a 10th of that. So they designate with a mark. On one side of the mark there's 100th of the entire bread, v'chala, which is a 48th. V'omer, and the person says, Echad mimea mimasha yeshkan, the 100th that's here, the trumas meiser. So it's not yet trumas meiser, because trumas meiser could only be separated after meiser is separated. So the person says the 100th that's here, hare bitzad ze meiser, that's on this side over here, it's going to be meiser. Now meiser is not just 100th, it's a 10th, which is 10 hundredths. So they say ushar meiser samachle, the rest of the meiser, the other 900ths are near it. So imagine over here a loaf of bread. The person makes a mark towards the end, and they say the 100th that's here is going to be their trumas meiser. But first they designate it as meiser. Now it's only 100th, they need another 900. So they say the other and the rest of the meiser, the 900ths, are right near it on the other side of the mark. And then they continue and say, now that they separated the meiser, zeh she'asisi meiser asui trumas meiser olive. When I made meiser at the very beginning, that 100th, it's now going to be, that 100th will be the trumas meiser on this whole section of meiser. V'hashar, and the rest that's on that side over there, the 48th that we mentioned, challah is going to be challah. And then they conclude and say, because if it's the first, second, or fourth or fifth years, they need to separate meiser sheni. So they say meiser sheni b'tzvaynei oy b'droymei. The meiser sheni is either on the tzafin side or the daram side, whichever side. Umechulol alamayis, and then they're placing the kedusha of it on money, and they're going to use that money to buy produce, which they will eat in Yerushalayim.